Rob here. And these are the final two pages from Vogue we have to analyse. These are pages 66 and 67 from the Heatwave holiday spread. Now, again, it's the same iconography we saw in the other pages. So again, we need to be considering Roland Barthes here, the fan, not going again, so it's not running. So, it's just there as iconography to suggest, cooling air without actually doing it, because that would disturb the clothes. She's got, again, the same model, slightly different looking here. Same direct gaze looking at us, but again in the same reclining pose that makes her look submissive, puts us, the viewer, in a dominant position looking down upon her. Again, that reflects perhaps the patriarchal power structure. Again, she's got a drink, not a Coke by the looks of it, but a drink. Again, implies cooling summer drinks. It's the same kind of like black and white chiaroscuro high contrast lighting and use of colour that's typical of Helmut Newton. Interesting in the way that her face does fall quite into shadow from this wide-brimmed hat. Surprised there's not more fill light coming off this white desk, to be honest. I mean, probably a bit. I'd have probably wanted a little bit more underlighting going on there. But who am I to second guess Helmut Newton? But then again, like the other ones, there's a circular motif going on here. Probably a flower, it's more like a cabbage. How it reflects the roundness of the fan. Again, look at the way in which dynamic shapes, it follows the line of the bed here, the way her fingers curl, it glides like almost golden ratio, brings us into her eyes. The same with this hand here, it draws us to her face, and of course to her breasts and cleavage, which again goes in with Lisbeth Van Zoonen. It goes into the sexualization, that women's bodies are objects to be looked at, to be displayed, and that's a core element of Western patriarchal culture. So, bare arms, the chest, I mean, it's not that sexualized, but nonetheless, it's still a male gaze, as Laura Mulvey would have it. We're still, focusing on the beauty of her face, the curves of her body. What else does it say? Okay, we've got this note here. Now, this follows on from previous pages. We've got the pen that was in the previous spread, and we've got this note that she's written. It says, "Darling, it's so hot here. I love you. Come and get me from this awful place." So, this is interesting. Holidays in the sun are supposed to be a glamorous affair. Something that is desirable, something to aspire to, but she's clearly not happy about it. She looks pretty grumpy in all of these pictures, to be perfectly honest. It's as if she's talking to us. Is that letter for us? Are we the darlings she's referring to? Again, this idea of the foreign. I mean, we've got this woman here, this Arabic woman, very covered up in her traditional dress. Looks like a magazine, isn't it? There's a binary opposite, or a contrast of Occident and Orient, of European, of foreign, and that foreign is awful. So if we're going to bring in, Paul Gilroy, we could talk about this idea of the othering of that which is not Western, that is not white, that is not European. What does it say in the copy? Have you the feeling you've seen it somewhere before? In those days, a vest was a vest, but in Saint-Tropez this summer, this is the heat rave. Natural, threaded with ribbons, scalloped edges, by Vachon, available from Maxine Leighton Boutique. Trousers, 22 guineas from Woolens. Belt, a chiffon scarf, 52 shillings and 9 pence by Asher. sun-swept natural stalk straw hat sprung with an overblown cabbage green Mexican flower. Hat by Otto Lucas to order from Woolens. Flower 17 shillings and sixpence. Available from Mexicana. Viva Maria. And it's as hot as this in Mexico. Again, clearly not Mexico, because the Arabic picture in the bottom right, but again, Mexico, the foreign, the exotic. Saint-Tropez, south of France, again, it's this idea of the jet set, about the ability to jet over to foreign climes at a whim. We take that for granted nowadays. Now we've got cheap air travel, but in the 1960s this would have been unbelievably exotic. I mean, they'd only just given up rationing at that point. In fact, there might be still some rationing going on in the 1960s. Bear in mind, this is the era of the James Bond novel and the early James Bond films. For people who were used to rationing, the James Bond stories of him, jetting off to foreign climes, and the way in which it, goes into detail describing everything he's eating and drinking, would have been unbelievably exotic to people who were still having to have their food rationed. So, the ability to go abroad, to eat fancy foods and do stuff like that was, something that only the spectacularly wealthy could afford. But it was coming more within the range of the middle classes because of jet travel. The jet set, as they called them. So, nonetheless, expensive clothes from high-class boutiques, some of which are bespoke, i.e. made to order, like the hat. So the letter, again, implies a narrative, so we can be bringing into this the Svetlana Todorov theories of narrative structure. This is like a disruption. It's a call to action. It implies a resolution. We can also talk about binary opposites, of course. Binary opposite of, Britain, London, England, as being, even in the summer, not that warm, as opposed to the blazing heat of foreign climes that, might be considered awful, hellish, if you're not used to it. So, those are all of the pages from Vogue Analysed. If you've got any questions, you know how to contact me. All of these videos are available in both the magazines and the Vogue playlists, and I will be doing some more videos for the big issue shortly. See you in the next one.